Alright, so this is Brian, and I am back with a tuning video this time. I'm going to tune up my sound system using this hefty, awesome tool I got called the SMD AMM-1. It is a wonderful tool, so I'm going to show you how to do everything on it today. I'll be doing that with my own system. Here I have my two Soundstream Rube 124Ws, two 12-inch Soundstream subs in 3 cubic feet net, so 1.5 cubes per sub. It's a little under their rating. And I have a round of speaker wire about 6 feet long going to my Soundstream Picasso Nano PN1 650D, which this is supposed to put out about 400 watts at 4 ohms. I also have the PN4 520D here, which puts out 520 watts at 2 ohms. I also have my trusty hearing protection today, since seeing I do not want to go deaf tuning an audio system. This is the SMD AMM-1. It's a wonderful tool. I've already used it once. Found out that my subwoofers are only getting 14 watts off this amplifier the way I had it tuned earlier. I'm going to use this, go all the way from the head unit back. I'm going to use test tones, and I'm going to tune everything from the head unit back today. We'll make sure that you run your wire through the SMD AMM-1 that you're wanting to read the amperage of. And now let's get to tuning the front channels. Alright, so I've got my car on. You can't see my face, I know. I'm at the stereo here. We're going to start turning this up. I turned my crossovers off, but I don't believe in flat EQ tuning, because if you're going to tune a system and then go mess it up with a bunch of EQing, then you're going to have to tune it again anyway. So, I'm going to start with the head unit here. I've got all my gains turned down and the car on so that it gives a full voltage to the amplifiers, 13.5 volts. Let's go back and start reading the SMD AMM-1. Alright, with the all the amplifiers turned down, the crossovers off, I figured out that my stereo clips at 40 volume. I've got a 400 Hertz test tone going at 40 volume, and I'm about to put my hearing protection back on. Alright, so now that the camera is charging, it was running out of batteries earlier, I'm going to start turning the gain up on my amplifier, my speaker amplifier. And because this amplifier, the Soundstream PN4 520D, actually makes more power than these Alpine speakers are rated for, I'm going to be watching the watts in real time as I turn this up, and also watching clipping. We'll take a shot at it. I'm going to start with the front channels. Alright, so you're watching the clip light on the SMD AMM-1. It's right there. There's the clip light where my finger is. My very fat finger on this camera. Anyway, so I'm going to restart the car here, and we're going to get right on it. Alright y'all, so the signal clipped at 11 watts coming out of the front channels. So now I'm going to rearrange my wires and go to the rear channels. Alright, so now I have the AMM-1 connected to the rear channels, one of the rear channels, and I'm going to start turning up that gain. Alright, so the stereo and the speakers are safe up until 40 volume. It clipped at 13 watts on the back 2 channels. Again, these are the Picasso Nano series amplifiers. I'm not slamming them here. This whatever this is loud. It's way louder than the stereo was. So these are still good amps. I think they're well worth the price. I don't know what this number means, but 13 watts is loud. So again, I'm using some 30 decibel ear protection doing this, and I wouldn't want to take them off. So let's keep tuning. Let's do the subwoofer next. Okay, y'all, car's still running. I know I'm eating gas while I'm doing this. It's been about doing this 20 minutes or so. I've got everything hooked up for the subwoofer. I turned my high pass filter for the speakers back on so that they don't get damaged during the subwoofer test. Obviously, these can play 40 Hertz way better than the speakers can. So let's go ahead and test the gain on the subwoofer. Make sure it doesn't clip at 40 volume like the rest of the stereo. Alright, you can't read the meter, but I hope you all saw the light here come on. It came on at about 131 watts. So I want to do a little bit of an impedance sweep. I'm going to take my phone and a little aux cable, and I've got like an app, a tone generator app that I got for free. So let's go plug this in and then see how the impedance changes with the frequency. See where this box is tuned at. Alright, I just wanted to quickly measure the ohms, my DC resistance of the subs. These are dual voice coil 4 ohm subwoofers. So they've got two 4 ohm coils each of them. I have the coils wired in parallel to give 2 ohms, but then I have the two subwoofers wired in series to bring me back to 4 ohms. So I'm just going to check and plug this on my speaker terminals. We're reading it right at 4 ohms, 4.1, 4.2. This Soundstream amp has a starting impedance of 4 ohms approximately. So anything above that is box rise with frequency. When I start playing frequencies through this, it's going to change the impedance. Okay, I've got it in AC frequency and impedance mode. I've got a 40 Hertz test tone playing here. Wow, and it already knows the resistance? No. I've only got the okay, that's more like it. So 6.8 ohms at 40 Hertz. Let me try something higher. So now I have a 60 Hertz test tone playing. 6.7, 6.6. Hold on. Now I have an 80 Hertz test tone playing. Back on. It shuts itself off automatically every 2 minutes. That's not very useful, I think. AC frequency and impedance. We have 80 Hertz running through this wire. Okay, now our impedance is going down. So we know that down more towards 40 Hertz, we had an impedance strike, an impedance spike. So now I'm playing 30 Hertz. Let's see. Okay, 30 Hertz is back down. So we know that our impedance spike is somewhere between 30 Hertz and say about 60 Hertz. We got a 50 Hertz tone playing. 50 Hertz is apparently greater than 200 ohms, which looks like a spike to me. Let's do 43 Hertz here. Finally get to see my pretty face again. I'm not sure why a subwoofer would hit 200 ohms. I mean, that's a lot of impedance spike. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Please let me know if I am. This is my first time really tuning anything with this tool. Otherwise, I am assuming that I have an impedance spike between 40 and 50 Hertz. Give me a holler if you know anything about that 200 plus impedance. So please let me know what I'm doing wrong. Anyway, so this is really cool. Now I'm gonna go demo it and just see how loud this thing gets and if it sounds beautiful up to 40 volume. Alright, I'm in my back seat here. I've got a little hatch here in a Toyota Avalon. So I used to have the gains way up, about halfway. That gain is almost all the way down on the speaker amplifier. There's the other one. It's almost all the way down also. And same for the subwoofer amplifier. These gains are almost all the way down. This Sony head unit I had is supposed to put out 5 volts on the pre-outs. So I was always curious why I could never seem to get enough bass or enough sound without turning my units way up. So now I have effectively reduced the noise floor by having my amp gains down low and sending a stronger signal to begin with. So this is good news. I'm pretty sure everything's going to be way louder, but with the less noise. So let's give it a shot, see how much we can shake that thing. So I'll tell you guys what, it took me about an hour to do this today, tuning the system with the SMD AMM-1 audio multimeter, and I must say, y'all, this is one heck of a tool. I've been tuning audio systems, or been messing around with my audio system and a few other people's, trying to get the best sound for the best price, and by golly, this tool had my ears fooled. This tool is about $400 to purchase. I purchased mine on eBay through the Showtime Electronics. The reason the SMD AM-1 saves money is because when somebody doesn't know how to tune a system or doesn't have a really good ear, they tend not to get the full potential out of what they have. So what they end up doing is going out and buying more expensive things and then only using them halfway to their potential. What I had done, I had tuned my system by ear. I thought it sounded great, but I was just, you know, I used test tones and I listened for distortion at certain volume levels. You know, I turn it up one click and listen with my ears for distortion. When I thought I heard distortion, that's when I stopped. But because the system is already so powerful, I've got amplified mids and highs. That's a lot of power. It was buzzing the doors and other pieces of the car. So what I was hearing as distortion was actually door panels moving, not signal distortion from the head unit. Since I assumed that that was distortion, I turned things down. I didn't want to hear that, because I assumed it was distortion, which it is in a way, but it's not signal distortion. So I figured, okay, I need a bigger amplifier. Obviously, this one is distorting early. I did the same with the subwoofers. You know, when I tune a sealed subwoofer, like a single 10 in a sealed box or a single 12, you know, it's kind of easy to hear distortion because, you know, it's right there. At 40 hertz, you can hear distortion pretty well because the box keeps the volume low, and so that you can tell the difference. But when I've got a 3 cubic foot Porter box, and it is freaking loud at 40 hertz. So when I went out to tune it, I had to put ear protection on to tune it. So I couldn't get an accurate distortion. I have no clue when it distorts. It sounds loud wherever it is. When I plugged the SMD AMM-1 up originally, the first time I plugged it up, I was getting 14 watts to both of those 12-inch subwoofers. And they were loud, okay? It's not like I have weak ears. I was wearing ear protection. I'm not a weenie. I like my music loud, but 14 watts? I mean, come on. There's got to be some potential there. If I had never gotten that tool, I would have never have known. I would have assumed I was getting 400 watts. By the end of my tuning, I was able to achieve 130 watts, unclipped. And that is like almost a tenfold increase in power. And it shows. My trunk is on fire! It's loud, and it's beautiful. So, the SMD AM-1 saves money by stopping you from buying equipment that you don't need. I was going to buy a more powerful amplifier. I was going to buy a signal booster, like a bass processor or something like that. to boost the signal going in so I could turn my gains down. So those two things there, a bass processor and a subwoofer amp, would have been $200, $250 for good stuff. And that's money I don't need to spend anymore. Obviously, I had a lot of hidden potential. Gotta say, even though this tool is worth $400, it's already saved me $250. So just the fact of having a system tuned correctly. So this is how the SMD AMM-1 saves money. It allows you to calibrate your sound system for the best efficiency. You want to get the most from your money. That's what I'm trying to do with this series. I want people to be able to afford good audio systems. This tool is something that you would really appreciate if you've got a whole new audio system. It's worth it to have this. That's my explanation for why the SMD AM-1 saves money. Maybe as I go on tuning other systems, I will show this tool in action, like officially, actually let you see the screen. I'm Brian, and this is my take on the SMD AMM-1. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, go ahead and click the subscribe button, because that's how you subscribe.